Welcome back to the Sim Reel. I'm Annabel, and as always, I'm joined by our panel of voices you know well. To my left, we have Lauren Rivera. Welcome back, Lauren.
Hey, glad to be here.
We've also got Penny Pizazz with us today, the host of Penny's Perspective.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. Always good to sit at this table.
Of course. Next up, we've got Gabrielle Wolf.
Hello, I'm ready to talk because this case has me fired up.
And rounding out our panel, the ever-optimistic Iris Lyles.
Hi. Always happy to be here and hopefully shine a little light on these heavy stories.
All right, ladies, let's jump in. Penny, you've been following the Harrison Stallings trial closely on your podcast. What's the strategy the prosecution is going with here?
The strategy is pretty straightforward. 9 times out of 10, prosecution is going to want to show that Harrison has a violent history, that he's not just a businessman, not just a nightclub owner, but someone who has shown aggression again and again. To do that, they've put together a short list of potential witnesses, and the names on that list are big ones: Teagan Saige, Phoenix Monroe, and Amari McAllister.
Good. That's exactly who should be up there. Because if we're being real, those are the people who've been closest to him. Teagan and Phoenix have known Harrison since they were teenagers. They've seen his temper. And Amari? Everybody remembers the public confrontations. This man has a record of blow-ups.
But let's not forget, those witnesses come with baggage. Teagan's always in some sort of drama, and Phoenix has her own scandals. Amari is not exactly an angel. The defense will say they all have grudges, and they'll push that hard.
So what? Grudges don't erase the truth. Zoya came on the sim reel with bruises, crying, saying she was scared. People dismissed her. I didn't. I believed her then, and I believe her now.
And I get that, Gabby, but a jury has to believe it too. That's the challenge. These witnesses are high profile, and when you bring in celebrities, the story can start to feel like drama instead of evidence.
True, but that's also why the prosecution wants them. The jury recognizes them. If Teagan and Phoenix both say, "Yes, Harrison has shown aggression. We've seen it personally," that's memorable. And if Amari adds his own testimony, it paints Harrison as consistently volatile.
Or it paints it as a setup. 3 people, all connected, all with history. The defense can spin it as a personal vendetta instead of fact.
No, Lauren, this is bigger than vendettas. This is about a man tied to a woman who vanished. He's always had a reputation for violence. Just because the messengers aren't perfect doesn't mean the message is a lie.
And that's exactly the gamble here. The prosecution isn't after perfection. They're after recognition and reinforcement. They want the jury to believe this is who Harrison is, this is how he's always been, and this is why Zoya's disappearance points back to him.
And if that keeps him from hurting anyone else, then maybe it's worth the risk.
Speaking of risks, SMZ is reporting that Harrison Stallings and actress Alaia Poole tied the knot. Yes, married, while Harrison is still behind bars. The outlet even claims they acquired the marriage license to prove it. Ladies, what do we think?
I'll tell you what I think. It's sad. It's downright sad. Alaia had so much going for her. She was an actress with a promising career, and now she's not on sets. She's not booking projects. She's not filming movies. Instead, she's wrapped up in Harrison's drama. First she's pregnant. Now she's married to a man staring down a RICO case. This is not the fairy tale. This is career suicide.
Or maybe it's love. We can't always judge someone's personal decisions by their resume. If she feels this is her person, then maybe stepping back from acting for now is what she wants.
No, Iris, come on. Love doesn't erase the fact that he's in jail. Love doesn't erase the headlines, the danger, the accusations. She's young, she had choices, and she chose to tie herself to a possible criminal.
I mean, I hear both sides. On one hand, it is her life, and if she's happy, then that's her decision. On the other hand, it is risky. She's marrying a man who might not see freedom again for years. That's not a small gamble. And from a purely legal standpoint, the timing is interesting. SMZ isn't just saying they got married. They're showing the paperwork. It makes you wonder if this was less about romance and more about protection. As his wife, Alaia could claim spousal privilege if she were ever called to testify. That shields her from having to answer questions about him.
But Penny, how is this even possible? How can Harrison and Alaia get married while he's still behind bars?
It's actually more common than people think. The prison system does allow marriages, though the process is stricter. They have to get approval from the facility, usually with a judge signing off on the paperwork. And in this case, SMZ says they've seen the marriage license. So while it sounds shocking, it's completely legal. It just means the ceremony likely happened in a visitation room or through the court with an officiant present. It's not glamorous, but it is binding.
This is strategy, 100%. Harrison gains a loyal wife to make him look more stable. And Alaia gains, what? Headaches. She's not protecting herself. She's sacrificing herself. And she deserves better.
But Gabby, marriage can be about loyalty. Maybe she's saying, I don't care what the world thinks. I'm standing by the man I love. That can be powerful. Or it can be naive. I'm not going to bash her, but I will say this. Being loyal to someone doesn't mean putting your whole future on the line. And that's what it feels like she's doing.
And don't forget the public optics. Alaia's brand shifts instantly. She goes from actress to the wife of. That's a hard label to carry when your husband is in the middle of one of the biggest trials in Sim Nation.
Exactly. And every headline from here on out ties her name to his. She's no longer Alaia Poole, the actress. She's Alaia Stallings, the woman who married an inmate.
All right, we're going to leave it there for now. Harrison and Alaia's marriage is official. The paperwork is real, and whatever the reason, the world will keep speculating. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be talking about Teagan Saige. She just announced she's in album mode, and fans are already buzzing. Stay with us.
You've seen the headlines, you've watched the chaos unfold. But what if you could see more, sooner? On Patreon, members get early access to every episode, exclusive sneak peeks you won't find anywhere else, and the power to vote on how the story unfolds. Don't just watch Capricorn Sims. Shape it. Step inside the circle. Join us on Patreon today.
Welcome back to the Sim Reel. Let's shift gears for a moment and talk music. Teagan Saige just posted on Instagram that she is officially in album mode, and she told fans to expect something new this November. Ladies, November is just 2 months away. What do we think she's gearing up for?
I think it's amazing. She's been through so much, and this feels like her fresh start. A new era, new music. Fans are ready, and honestly, so am I.
Yeah, I'm glad to see her focusing on her career again. It feels like every headline lately has been about her personal drama. If she's really back in album mode, maybe we'll finally get to see Teagan the artist instead of Teagan the scandal.
Or we'll just get another heartbreak album. Let's be real. Every time she argues with a man, we get 12 songs about it. So what are we in for this time? Tracks about Nas? Harrison? Both? Oh, come on, Lauren. Even if it is heartbreak, it's what she does best. People love her because she turns that pain into music.
What I find interesting is that while all of this trial prep is going on, Teagan hasn't been spotted at the courthouse at all. Not once. Which makes me wonder if she's intentionally distancing herself from Harrison, now that this RICO case is underway, to not have any of this attached to her upcoming album press run.
And if she is, good for her. Focus on your music, your life, your kids. Let the courts do what they do.
So, ladies, we're actually going to wrap up today's show with a new segment, Ask the Simreel hosts. The Patreon viewers at home have been sending in questions, and now it's our turn to answer them directly. Let's get into it. First one is for you, Lauren. Why do you always sit at this table bashing people, calling it journalism as if you're above everyone, when in reality, you secretly wish you lived like them? That's why you follow their lives.
You know, that's the thing about being a journalist. It's a thankless job. We have the duty to comment, to report, and sometimes that means pointing out things people don't want to hear. If you feel like what I say sounds negative, maybe it's because what those people are doing is negative. Instead of sending me messages about how I cover it, maybe send them messages and ask them to live better lives if you don't want to hear anything bad about them.
All right. Our next one is for you, Gabby. Why are you always so against Teagan, especially when the Zoya case dropped? You talk about women of color, but you drag Teagan and Phoenix when they haven't even been charged. Even when there was talk of Zoya sleeping with Teagan's husband, you bypassed that. So it's okay to sleep with someone's husband while watching her kids, but not okay to defend your marriage?
Let me be clear. I'm not against Teagan. I've always said I enjoy her as an entertainer. But it's also very obvious that something happened between her and Zoya. Now, I'm not a detective. I'm not a lawyer. But it doesn't take rocket science to see that Zoya was brutally attacked. She had bruises no one could deny. And as far as the affair, personal or romantic matters should never escalate into physical violence. The way Zoya described it was as if she was jumped by both Teagan and Phoenix. If that's true, and I stress that it's all alleged, then justice needs to be served.
Next one is short and sweet. This viewer says, Iris, no question, but thank you for being the realest member of the Sim Real. You give your opinion based on facts, and we love you for that.
That's so kind. Thank you. I just enjoy doing this job, and I always try to look at what's in front of us and give my honest take.
All right, here's one for the whole table. Do you think Amari will try to torpedo the case against Harrison if he gets called to the stand?
That's actually tough to predict. I've had personal interactions with Amari, and honestly, he's a wild card. Some days he's calm, some days he's combative. When it comes to Harrison, their history is messy, so I can't say for sure.
And finally, back to you, Lauren. People are saying you were spotted visiting an inmate at the same facility where Harrison is being held. Were you there for an interview, or do you have personal connections to someone inside?
Let me set the record straight. I was never at that jail, period. Whoever thinks they saw me, they were mistaken. That's not true. And that's all I'm going to say on it.
Well, there you have it. Thank you to everyone who sent in questions. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Sim Real. We'll be back with more conversations, more headlines, and more of your questions. Until then, I'm Annabel. And on behalf of our panel, thanks for watching The Sim Real.